Happy Friday. Friday. No, it's Thursday. Thinking it's Friday. This week it seems like it's gone slow. You know, there's some weeks that go fast, some weeks that go slow. Wow, that thing was picked clean. Nature has a way of taking care of the stuff on the road, that's for sure. Holy cow. See the rib cage on that thing. So, yeah. It's Thursday. It is, man, why do I want to say August? April. I'm wishful thinking because it seems like spring is not going to spring here. April 28th, 2022. Thursday. I don't know what the hashtags are. Thankful Thursday, Thinking Thursday, Thoughtful Thursday. Got a little partner, got a sidekick in the car right now. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully she'll be good. So yesterday I said we might have a special guest today. I'll have to get her mug on the camera here a little bit once we get stopped. So, I don't know. We used to have a dog, a Maltese. We got this little Maltese back in, a little white dog. I mean, she's only like 5 pounds. Used to hold her on my arm all the time. Everywhere we'd go, she'd be on my arm. That's where she's always, Daddy's girl. Had the little dog. And she had some problems, and we kind of kept her alive, man, probably about 3 years. Longer than she should have been. She had some heart issues, and, you know, she would swell up, get a lot of fluid. And then, you know, we'd fix her, and, you know, she was always on medicine, but she lived a good life. I mean, she really did. It was just that, you know, we poured a lot of money into making sure that, you know, she was with us. And a lot of people are like, well, why, man, why would you do that for a dog? And, you know, I used to think the same thing. Why would you do that for an animal? Why would you pour all that money into an animal? Well, the thing is, from our perspective and my perspective, you know, when I bring an animal into the home, which isn't much, which has been a long time, and the girls had to talk me into doing Bella, our Maltese, I make that commitment. It's like having a child to me. That's a new family member. And I'm going to do whatever I can within reason to, you know, make that animal's life comfortable. You know, I mean, I've taken that responsibility on, and I'm going to fulfill that responsibility. So, and, you know, I went through the same thing with my mother-in-law. My wife's mom had multiple sclerosis. She was in a wheelchair. When I first met her, I mean, I remember walking into the house, and, you know, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, said, oh, there's one thing I want to tell you. My mom's in a wheelchair. And I'm like, okay. And it was like Thanksgiving dinner or something. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. And so I went in, and she was cooking, and she was in the wheelchair, but she could push herself up and stand there and stir stuff and sit down and, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, man, she was about not much older than I am now when I met her. So yeah, I mean, you know, and so it got to the point where, you know, she, you know, it got worse and worse, and she had other issues. And we just took on the responsibility of, you know, moving her in with us and taking care of her. And, you know, my thinking was, I'm going to milk every last good bit of life, you know, out of life, you know, for her. And that's what we did. And, you know, it wasn't easy. I mean, it just wasn't, you know, and it was a struggle, but I would never give that up. You know, I have no regrets. I would do it again. But it was a big part of our life. You know, that's what we did. We couldn't go anywhere, and I mean, you know, we always had to be kind of on call, and that's okay, because, you know, I chose to do that. We chose to do that. And back to the dog situation. That's the same thing that we do here. It's, you know, we take on that responsibility, and, you know, we want to give the highest quality of life possible. And it's not just, well, just turn the light off and, you know, go to the nursing home, or, you know, here, let's just put them to sleep kind of thing. And so it's a struggle, and I know it's a struggle, and that's why I did not want dogs or animals for a long time, because I know how I am and how attached I get to things and people, and, you know, and that's why I have a limited circle, because I am very, what do you want to say, loyal. And, you know, I've only got so much energy I'm willing to give. And, I mean, if you're in that inner circle, then, you know what, you're good. and I don't like losing things. And so I just want to make sure that, you know, when I commit to something, I'm committed to it. Otherwise, I don't want to be part of it. So anyway, the dog situation. So when we got our Maltese, my oldest daughter, you know, she was, I don't know how old she was. She was like 5. And, you know, she colluded with my wife at the time, and they searched for the perfect breed of dog. Didn't want a big dog, wanted a small dog, one that didn't shed, you know, hypoallergenic. You know, so we ended up getting a Maltese. And I mean, I love that little dog. I mean, I miss her so much. And she died in November 2nd of last year. We had to actually put her to sleep after, you know, we kept her along for like 3 years, you know, and then it got to the point where it's like, all right, you know, she took a real quick turn for the worse, and I mean, it was kind of sudden, and we had to make that decision to put her to sleep. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done. Absolutely, just, I get emotional thinking about it right now, because it was a hard thing to do. But I made that commitment to giving that dog its best life. And that's what we did, and I have no regrets. So I got no regrets with my mother-in-law. I mean, we did everything we could to make sure that, you know, had the best quality of life for the longest amount of time. And you balance that. So anyway, it's not an easy thing for me to go out and get a pet. But, you know, I kind of like the dogs around. All right, so what happened is, last night we went to a local breeder, and we were looking for a specific type of dog. And it was a Cocker Poodle mix. And they're cute, they're little, you know, and, you know, my mother-in-law had Cocker Spaniels, and they're just good dogs, and a Poodle, you know, the non-shedding, and so, you know, the breed, it's kind of a nice mix. So we went and looked, and there's just gorgeous couple of little black dogs, and, you know, my Maltese was white, you know, we didn't just want to kind of move on from that, get something different. And so we looked, but walking in, she's got all kinds of different dogs. So outside in the fenced area, there's some dogs playing. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that little black one. And it's bigger, you know, than what we're anticipating getting. So I'm just like, look at that little dog. You know, and it was just, like, you know, all excited. And I thought, you know what? I like that little dog. You know, I don't even know what breed it is. You know, something about her. And so we go in, and we're looking at the little dogs that we came to look at. And then I hear this dog out there barking, and, you know, the breeder, she's like, oh my gosh, these husky doodles. I guess that's what they call them, husky doodles. It's a husky mixed with a poodle. I'm like, of all things, you know. So, man, she's making a lot of noise. Yeah, she wants attention. I mean, I just can't get rid of her, you know. And it's just, I don't know. I love her, but you know, I said, well, how old is she? She said, oh, she's 9 weeks. And just nobody wanted to buy that breed for some reason. And she had 3 more of them. And so this little girl's out there barking. And so finally we decided, well, bring her in. And, you know, in the midst of these 3 other dogs that we're looking at, you know, these little puppies that are 6 weeks old. So the dog comes in and just, all excited, you know. So I pick her up and hold her, and I'm just like, I don't know, there's something about this dog. And so we continue to look at the other puppies and narrow it down to 2, you know, and my daughters, you know, see which ones resonate with them. And they narrowed it down to 2, and they weren't really sure. They had different qualities. And meanwhile, the groomer's saying, you know, hey, if you want one of these puppies, you know, you can have this dog, I'll throw this dog in, you know. And I'm like, you know, I want 2 dogs, you know, I'm not here for 2 dogs. Then I thought about it, and they picked out, you know, they narrowed it down to 2 puppies. And I said, well, here, you know, they put this little husky dog, the husky poodle, husky poodle. I don't even know what you call it. Husky and a poodle. So had it sniff the 2 dogs that they had it narrowed down to. The one just sniffed it, licked it, and kissed it. And then the other one just kind of, and then snubbed it. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And so we kind of played with him a little bit longer, and then came back to it and did it again for confirmation, you know, maybe 20 minutes later. And sure enough, same thing. Just like the one little puppy and didn't like the other one. And I'm just like, man, this is all kind of coming together. So I said, okay, here's what we'll do. Let's make this happen. And the breeder, you know, she's like, absolutely, let's do this. You know, and so we made a deal. And So now we have 2 dogs instead of 0. So we've got this one that's going to be about 40 pounds. You know, it's a smaller husky doodle. And then we have the other one, which is a cockapoo. I call it a cockadoodle. I don't even know what a cockadoodle do. So that one we're going to pick up in 2 weeks. So we're going to visit it a couple more times. And, you know, so anyway, we got 2 females, 2 female dogs. And this one here is being so good. She made so much noise the whole time that I was there. And then once we brought her in, I mean, she was still a little, you know, excited. But since she's been home, hardly a peep. Hardly a peep out of her. I mean, just been the best dog. And take her outside, goes potty, comes in. Interesting. I don't know. I say that all the time, interesting. It's just, it does. It makes me, I don't know, there's just something special about her. We'll see what happens. It's only the first day, first few hours, I guess. But I don't know. So when you know, you know. And that's the kind of way I look at it. I just kind of knew. I wasn't looking for that dog at all. Did not have. And then when I heard the breed, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a bigger dog. And we don't want a bigger dog. And it's a house dog. It's really not an outside dog. And, you know, it's like, do I want a 40-pound dog in the house? 45-pound dog, maybe? Who knows? And I don't know. I'm the one that made the call on it and said, no, we're going to get them both. And this is what I'm going to pay you. And she was absolutely. And it was, I don't know, just all worked out. And the 2 dogs, you know, got along really well. And I think we've got a good situation. But I guess it goes back to what I've always said, and it just validates everything I've always said in every video that I make. It's trust yourself. You kind of know, and when you know, you know. And you can't explain why, you don't know why, and sometimes things just, if you just go with it, and that's what I did. I mean, and as we're riding home, my wife's like, are we ready to have another dog and 2 dogs? I said, yeah, we're fine. You know, it's just, it is what it is. You know, when you feel right about something, you just know and you don't question it and you go with it. And that's what I did. And so this cute little thing's over here, and I hate to disrupt her and disturb her, but she's being so good in the car. I mean, she's just, for a puppy, just really good. So trust yourself, trust your instincts. And there's something to be said about the magic qualities of a dog. Yeah, they can frustrate you and make you angry sometimes. And, you know, you're like, why are you doing that? You know, what, are you here to torture me? But at the end of it all, when you look back at a lifetime of raising one of these dogs, they give you so much love. They give you so much of the intangible things that you just don't get anywhere else. They really love you unconditionally, probably because you feed them so much. You're the one that feeds me, so I love you. But no, there's just something special about them. You know, the innocence that they have, they're a gift. They really are. And you know, it's not easy. It's like having a child, but it's a blessing and a gift. So that's my story right now. Anything else? There was something else I wanted to say that was going on, and I can't really remember what it is. You know, we've talked about the whole Elon Musk thing. Oh, I saw the Economic Ninja yesterday, kind of clickbaited it a little bit, and which it's fine because, you know, it gets people's attention, but maybe I should do this on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Breaking news, to put something like that on this title, and, you know, I'll get more people watching it. But then they'll watch the dog story and say, what's this guy talking about? You know, why is he talking about dogs and stuff? Why is he not talking about cryptocurrency and Litecoin and sound money and freedom? But it's all the same. It's all the same. It's finding your freedom. And at the end of it all, if I'm in a situation where, you know, I can just go play with the dogs, maybe have a cigar, maybe have a glass of bourbon, you know, if I can just relax and enjoy those moments, then that's freedom. You know, that's, you know, what else do you want? You know, I don't need the materialism and the objects, you know, freedom, you know, find out what your freedom is. Freedom is just being able to run around and play in the yard with a dog, or have it sit by your side like right now, and just be happy to be with you. So it's just knowing what you want out of life, where you want to be, what gets you to that level of freedom, what gets you to that, quote, happy place. That's an important thing. I don't talk about these things very often, but it's, they are moments, it's those moments in life. And I think we're all trying to capture that, those, because you look back, oh, that was great. I remember when I was in high school, I was on this team or that team, and that was the best time of my life. And I remember going to this party, or, whatever it is, whatever your happy memories are. I feel like as we get older, we're like Gatsby in The Great Gatsby. We are chasing that green light at the end of the Daisy Buchanan's dock, trying to recapture a little bit of that Gloria, the Bruce Springsteen song. And we're hearkening back to moments in the past and trying to pull those forward, those memories of those moments, kind of like a taste, or a smell. When you smell something or you taste something, it makes you recall, an event, a moment, a memory, a time. I think that a lot of us, that's what we do as human beings. We're hearkening back to the past, and that's how The Great Gatsby ends, and that's why I think it's a wonderful book. It has a lot of symbolism about America, and tells a lot about human nature. About Gatsby thinks he can repeat the past. You can bring it back. You can bring it forward, and be there. And the narrator, Nick Carraway, says, well, you can't do that. You can't repeat the past. And Gatsby's, of course you can. And at the end, Gatsby struggled, and it didn't happen. He could not relive the past. He could not bring the past into the present. And that's our struggle. At the end of the book, the narrator says, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. And so we're continually moving against the current, that river of life, constantly fighting it. And we're looking back, at that green light, that thing, that object, that moment, that idea. We're looking back, we're borne back ceaselessly into the past. We're constantly thinking back to the past of, that was the great time. That was the moment. That's when I shined. That's when, it was the best time. And you want to bring that back. And a lot of people talk about that. It's like, oh, back in my day, we didn't have all this inflation. Or things didn't cost this much. Or our politicians weren't as corrupt. And human nature is human nature. It is what it is. And we learn to deal with it. But those moments from the past, those recollections, those feelings, it's good to hang on to those because it gives us fuel to pursue that freedom, that feeling, that vibe in the present and in the future. But thinking that we can relive it, doesn't work. You're chasing a ghost, and it just doesn't work. It's capturing that essence and transforming it into something else so that it remains in the past, from the past into the present, into the future. But it's important to pursue it with the reality, with the recognition that, we can reinvent the future. We can make it feel like it did at that moment, at those moments. But don't make the mistake of thinking we can completely repeat it, because we all change and things are different. But it's good to hold those ideals and those dreams. All right, I'm waxing too philosophical on this episode, but it's something that as you make your investments, as you carry out your daily decisions, as we look at today and think about where we want to be tomorrow, it's important to kind of look at the past and what we've gone through and remember those things, those people who have touched us, those moments and those good things that we've done for other people, and continue to do those things. Because if things do pay off, if you're invested in silver, if you're invested in gold and cryptocurrency, and you do well in it, it's important to do good things with it, positive things with it. That can maybe help somebody else share that same type of memory that you held dearly to your heart. So, all because of a dog, I start talking like this. But that's how I always feel. It's not always about, sound money for the digital age. It's about simple things. So I'm gonna let you see the newest member of the family. I know you don't want to get up. So the girls want to name her Tilly, and so we're gonna call her Tilly. Yes, this is Tilly. I'm gonna say hi to everybody. Yes, there you go. So this is the latest addition to the family. I'm surrounded by girls. I have nothing but girls. I have 2 daughters, and now I'm gonna have two dog daughters. All right. Savor the things that matter in life, the things that give you pleasure, the things that are wholesome, that are nourishing, that are good for the soul. And as you plan your life accordingly, I think it's important to look at that as the end game. Surround yourself with those things. And I mean, nothing better than a little dog on your arm. All right. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. And thanks for watching if you made it this far. I know, kind of a crazy video today. But I love you all. I really do. And I hope you have a great Thursday. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. I did. And look what I've got. All right. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.